And with that, we welcome you to Sports Talk here on December 19th. A little bit of a different schedule this week, but I'll explain a little more later on in the show. But we do have a Sports Talk episode here now. So what to expect in today's show, we're going to go over some recent news in Major League Baseball, as well as a new series I am debuting in Major League Baseball from now until when the season starts, which I'm very excited about, and we will debut that series today. We'll move on to some NHL and go over some scores, standings, power rankings, and points leaders. I'd like to give a quick shout-out after that to a fallen legend who I'm sure a lot of you have heard by now. Then we'll take a break. Some new music to debut this week from our DJ Ling Boy. After the break, we'll go over some NFL predictions, scores, and standings, as well as the power rankings. We'll go over some college football bowl games to watch this week. And then after that, some NBA scores and power rankings, as well as some college basketball rankings. So, unfortunately, no Athlete of the Week this week, guys. Didn't work out in the schedule. But hopefully we can continue the Athlete of the Week series very soon. I'd like to wish all of you a happy Monday. Hope all of you high school and college students are getting through your exam weeks somewhat nicely. But without further ado, let's get started with the show. So, the new series I would like to debut in Major League Baseball, you saw a little bit of it when it came to NBA this offseason when there was some preseason games going on. I gave my insight on what I thought of a couple teams before the regular season started. And I thought that'd be fun to do in baseball too. So what we're going to do is every single week, we are going to take a team. After this week, it will be as voted by you guys. This week, I just picked the defending World Series champions, the Chicago Cubs. And we will go over their key additions as well as their key departures, their key prospects in the system, their starters returning from last year, and then my projected record for them for the upcoming season. So today, like I mentioned, we are starting with the Chicago Cubs. For the Cubs, of course, breaking that 108-year curse last year and winning their first World Series since 1908. Mostly behind a brilliant manager in Joe Madden and a lot of really good talent, young talent on that team. Some key additions, though, they made this offseason. They brought in relief pitcher and closer Wade Davis from the Kansas City Royals. They also brought in another reliever, Koji Uehara, the ageless wonder. They also brought in left-handed reliever Brian Dunsing, outfielder John Jay, and left-handed pitcher Caleb Smith. As for departures, so obviously working on that bullpen to replace the guy who I'm talking about next, key departure, Aroldis Chapman, who ended up signing with the Yankees on a 5-year, $86 million deal, abandoning Chicago without a closer, but they acquired Wade Davis, and probably Koji Uehara will be their setup man with Mike Montgomery moving to the starting rotation. So a couple other key departures. Dexter Fowler leaves Chicago and goes to the St. Louis Cardinals. Josh Colmenter traded to San Diego. Jorge Soler traded to Kansas City. And Jason Hamill declined his option and left for free agency. So key prospects for the Cubs organization. I'm only going to go over the top 5 prospects for each team. In the team of the week, you have second baseman Ian Happ, considered to be a very good defender, as well as a very solid contact hitter, and pretty surprising power for a player at the second base position. Moving on, you have their second highest prospect, Eloy Jimenez, outfielder, considered to have a cannon of an arm, as well as pretty above average speed, good power, and decent contact as well. Could be the next 5-tool player in Major League Baseball. You've got right-handed pitcher Dylan Cease, the only pitcher in this top 5 prospects. He's got an above-average fastball, an above-average slider, and a curveball that breaks very nicely, but just needs to work on the consistency of finding the strike zone. Moving on to number 4, you have Jeimer Candelario, third baseman. Candelario, known for his defense and contact, not great power, and pretty average speed. But the Cubs could always use a utility player off the bench possibly to give Chris Bryant an occasional day off. And then last but not least, number 5, outfielder Mark Zagunis. Mark Zagunis, known for his all-around hitting abilities, great contact, great power, kind of a weak arm for an outfielder, but that bat could make up for it. And he's all 5 of these players are projected to make their major league debut this season. So now we're moving on to the starting projected starters for the Cubs. This is subject to change. This is as of right now. We'll start off with the starting rotation. You have ace John Lester. At the number 2, you have Jake Arrieta. At the 3, Kyle Hendricks. At the 4, John Lackey. And at the 5, new to the starting rotation, Mike Montgomery. And then for the starting around the diamond, you have left fielder Ben Zobrist, World Series MVP last year. Returning from his torn ACL and playing in center field, Kyle Schwarber. Right fielder, Jason Hayward. Although I think I heard that they're going to move Zobrist to right, keep Schwarber in left, and then move Hayward to center. So I think that's what's going to happen, honestly, now that I think about it. So left fielder, Kyle Schwarber. Center fielder, Jason Hayward. Right fielder, Ben Zobrist. Third baseman, or catcher, Wilson Contreras. Now that David Ross is retired, he is the full starting catcher for the Cubs. And then the infield is the same as last year. First baseman, Anthony Rizzo. Second baseman, Javier Baez. Shortstop, Addison Russell. And third baseman, Chris Bryant. So now moving on to the final part of this team of the week, the projected record. Now, I know the Cubs went 103-59 last year. I don't think they're going to do that good this year. I have the Chicago Cubs going 98-64 this year. And just particularly, I just think they're good. They're obviously one of the best teams in baseball, if not the best team in baseball. But I just don't think they can get to 100 wins back-to-back years. So I've got 98-64. And I have them definitely making a deep playoff run. I can't guarantee anything yet, though, for the World Series. We'll talk more about that when it gets closer to baseball season. But make sure you leave your comments down below to vote on the next team of the week. So since we did a National League team this week, we'll probably move to the AL next week, but we could do teams like the Boston Red Sox, Cleveland Indians, whatever you guys are into, Toronto Blue Jays, whatever you guys want to see. So let me know your opinions down there, and we'll get back to that probably later on this week, actually. I'll probably do a second show later this week, probably Wednesday, but I'll talk more about that later. Moving on to the NHL. Some scores from yesterday. Boston Bruins defeat the LA Kings 1-0. The Winnipeg Jets over the Colorado Avalanche 4-1. Columbus Blue Jackets edge Vancouver in overtime 4-3. Ottawa Senators beat the New York Islanders 6-2. Chicago Blackhawks over the San Jose Sharks 4-1. And the New York Rangers over the New Jersey Devils 3-2 in overtime. So now moving on to the standings in the National Hockey League. In the Atlantic Division, you have Montreal atop the standings with 44 points. Ottawa second with 39. Boston with 37. Tampa Bay and Florida each with 33. Detroit with 32, Toronto and Buffalo with 31. Moving on to the Metropolitan, by far the most competitive division in the NHL. You've got the New York Rangers at the top with 47 points. Pittsburgh in second with 45. Columbus and Washington, how about those Blue Jackets? Columbus and Washington each with 44. Philadelphia with 41. Carolina 33. New Jersey 31. And the New York Islanders with 28. Moving on to the Western Conference in the Central, Chicago with 48 points, the best team in the NHL. Minnesota with 40, St. Louis 38, Winnipeg 33, Dallas 32, Nashville 31, and Colorado 23. And then in the Pacific, San Jose with 39, Edmonton, Anaheim with 37, LA 34, Calgary 34, Vancouver 29, and Arizona 27. So that will conclude the NHL action. Before we take a short break for music and commercial, I'd like to briefly discuss something that's very near and dear to me and near and dear to a lot of sports fans. To a lot of our sad news to a lot of us. On Thursday, we learned that broadcasting icon Craig Sager died of cancer at age 65. And I'd just like to talk for a couple minutes on what Craig Sager meant to me and to the sports world in general. Craig Sager was a man who wasn't afraid to show his true personality. It showed in the suits that he wore on every night. It showed in the interviews he conducted with NBA players. But most of all, and most importantly, it showed in his battle with cancer. Craig Sager showed that he was a man who was never going to give up. He was never going to give in, no matter how difficult the circumstances were. And I respect him so much for that. Craig Sager was one of the major broadcasters I looked up to as icons when I was younger, along with Marty Brennaman and Vin Scully. And it's just so surreal to just think I'm going to have to watch NBA games now without Craig Sager on the sideline. Craig Sager he got inducted into the Sports Broadcasting Hall of Fame the night before. And although he's gone way too soon, I mean, what a way to go out. Knowing that the thing you spent your whole life planning on, or your whole life invested in, you reach the top of the mountain, and then that's when you go. So he died at 65. Still heartbreaking loss to the sports community. Dwayne Wade said it best on an Instagram speech on Thursday night, where he said, us in the NBA, we're always throwing around the term legacy. But legacy is when someone leaves and you can tell their story. And no one left a bigger legacy than Craig Sager. Craig Sager will be telling his story for generations. That there was no one like him. And the NBA in particular, along with the sports world in general, lost a dear friend and a great man on Thursday night. Craig Sager, from everyone here at Sports Talk, rest in peace, dear friend. We're going to take a short break for station identification. This is some new music from DJ Lingboy. It is called Electricity. Let me know what you guys think and give him some love. All right, we are back. That was, again, DJ Lingboy with his new track, Electricity. Very popular, very great song. I'd love it if you guys checked him out on SoundCloud. He goes again by the name DJ Lingboy. And let him know that Sports Talk sent you. One of my best friends. So moving on to the NFL. Some scores from the past week. You had Seattle beat LA 24-3. Miami over the New York Jets 34-13. Green Bay over Chicago 30-27, excuse me. Houston over Jacksonville 21-20. You have Buffalo over Cleveland 33-13. Baltimore over Philadelphia 27-26. Tennessee over Kansas City 19-17. New York Giants over the Detroit Lions 17-6. Indianapolis over Minnesota 34-6 in Adrian Peterson's return. Pittsburgh comeback win over Cincinnati 24-20. New Orleans over Arizona 48-41. Atlanta over San Francisco 41-13. New England over Denver 16-3. Oakland over San Diego 19-16. And Dallas over Tampa Bay 26-20. And then, of course, tonight you have the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, moving on to the power rankings this week in the NFL. Just a quick set of condolences to everyone who lost in the fantasy football playoffs this week, me included. I went down to a very worthy opponent. My team just didn't step up in the clutch. But I can't wait for fantasy baseball season, guys. I mean, only 3 months away. Let's go. Fantasy baseball. But power rankings for the NFL. Number 1, you got the Patriots, 2 Cowboys, 3 Chiefs, 4 Raiders, 5 Giants, 6 Falcons, 7 Seahawks, 8 Steelers, 9 Lions, and 10 Buccaneers. Moving on to 11 through 15, you got the Packers, Ravens, Broncos, Redskins, Vikings. And then after that, the Titans, Texans, Dolphins, Cardinals, Bengals. And the final stretch here in the NFL, Chargers, Panthers, Saints, Colts, Bills, Jets, Eagles, Bears, 49ers, Rams, Jaguars, and last but not least, well, kind of least, the Browns. So we'll move on to some Week 16 predictions now. Thursday Night Football, you got the Giants taking on Philadelphia at Lincoln Financial Field. As much as I like Carson Wentz, the Giants are a better team. They're playing better. They've got a more consistent defense. They've got a more consistent quarterback. They've got Odell Beckham. I mean, the Giants are just a better team. I'd have to go with New York, 27-21. Miami taking on Buffalo from Orchard Park. This one I'm going to shock a couple of you and pick Buffalo. 1, because Tannehill's hurt and Matt Moore's starting. 2, because this is the Miami Dolphins in Buffalo, New York in December. That just spells trouble for a team from Miami. I'm going to go with the Bills in this one, 27-24. New York Jets traveling to take on New England. This one won't even be a fun game to watch. Patriots 34-10. Tennessee taking on Jacksonville. I like the Titans in a very close game, 20-17. Minnesota traveling to take on Green Bay. I like the Packers in this one. Final score probably 24-20, something like that. San Diego, the last chance for Cleveland to get a win pretty much because they play the Steelers in Week 17. They are at home, but I got to go Chargers, 21-14. Washington traveling to Chicago. Kirk Cousins having a career year. They've got a very solid defense. I got to go with the Redskins. The Bears are down to the third-string quarterback. I got to go with the Redskins in this one, 28-17. Atlanta traveling to take on the Carolina Panthers. And the Panthers kind of trying to turn it around after starting the year 2-6. They've been 3-2 in their last 5. But I still got to go with the Falcons. Julio Jones supposed to be coming back this week. And I like the Falcons in this one, 31-27. Colts traveling to take on the Raiders. Andrew Luck starting to play like the Andrew Luck we remember. from the past, but I still got to go with the Raiders at home. Derek Carr, Latavius Murray, Amari Cooper. That team is just stacked. Khalil Mack on defense. So good. I got to go with the Raiders in this one, 31-28. Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to take on the Saints. I'm going to pick an upset here and go Saints. Drew Brees at home. Brandon Cooks coming off of a career game. Michael Thomas, an outstanding rookie. Jameis Winston coming off of a loss to the Cowboys, and he's got to play a road game against another very good quarterback. I got to go with the Saints in this one, 35-31. Arizona Cardinals traveling to take on Seattle. Wow, how disappointing were the Cardinals this year? They were my Super Bowl pick, man. I got to go Seahawks in this one, 24-20. 49ers taking on the LA Rams from LA. I'm going to go with LA. I think they figure it out. The Niners just have so many holes. I'm going to go. I think Gurley has a big game. I'm going to go with the Rams in this one, 24-13. Cincinnati Bengals traveling to take on the Houston Texans this week. Tom Savage announced the starter over Brock Osweiler after Osweiler got benched. And I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals, actually. I'm going to have them because Savage is playing and A.J. Green's coming back this week. I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think they can pull it off. I'm going to go Bengals 27-24. Baltimore and Pittsburgh on Sunday in the game of the week on Christmas Day. I'm going to go with the Steelers for the sole fact that it's at Heinz Field. I think Pittsburgh clinches the division and wins this game 31-21. Denver and Kansas City on Sunday Night Football. I got to go with the Chiefs solely because they're the home team again, and I'm going to go Chiefs 24-21. And then Detroit taking on Dallas on Monday Night Football. As good as Detroit's been this year, you can tell Stafford's in a lot of pain when he plays. I'm going to go Cowboys at home in a very fun game, 24-23. So that concludes the Week 16 predictions this week. Next up on our list, we have college football. Some interesting bowl games to look out for this week. Starting off with the one that's live right now, Tulsa leading in this one, I believe 17-6, something like that, 17-3. They're playing in the Miami Beach Bowl. It's Central Michigan and Tulsa. Tomorrow you've got the Boca Raton Bowl between Memphis and Western Kentucky. San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl. Wow, what a mouthful. That's on Wednesday between BYU and Wyoming. Thursday, you've got the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. And for the first time in 10 years, Idaho's in the Idaho Potato Bowl. Shout out to Idaho. And they're playing Colorado State. Popeye's Bahamas Bowl, Eastern Michigan and Old Dominion. Then you've got the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl between Navy and Louisiana Tech. Hawaii Bowl between Hawaii and Middle Tennessee. And then the Dollar General Bowl between Ohio and Troy. Those are the games coming up this week in college football. And with that, we will move on to NBA action. So going on in the NBA this week, we will wrap up the show with NBA and college basketball. So starting with the NBA, some scores from last night. The Washington Wizards over the LA Clippers, 117-110. Dallas Mavericks over the Sacramento Kings, 99-79. The Utah Jazz over the Memphis Grizzlies in a defensive battle, 82-73. Philadelphia behind a career-high 33 points from Joel Embiid. Edge Brooklyn, 108-107. Toronto beats Orlando, 109-79. Celtics over the Heat, 105-95. And the Spurs over the Pelicans, 113-100. So moving on to some standings in the NBA. In the East, you have Cleveland with the 1 seed right now at 19-6. One game back of them, Toronto Raptors at 19-8. Boston in third with at 15-12. Charlotte 15-13. Milwaukee 13-12. New York Knicks 14-13. Indiana 14-14, and Chicago 13-13. Those are the 8 playoff spots in the East right now. And in the West, the Golden State Warriors 24-4, the Spurs 22-5, Houston 21-7, Clippers 20-8, Utah 18-10, Memphis 18-11, Oklahoma City 16-11, and Portland 13-16. Those are the 8 playoff spots in the West. And we will move on to the power rankings in the NBA. Number 1, the Warriors. 2, the Cavaliers. 3, Spurs. 4, Raptors. 5, Rockets. 6, Grizzlies. 7, Clippers. 8, Thunder. 9, Jazz. 10, Bulls. 11, Celtics. 12, Knicks. 13, Hornets. 15, Pacers. 14 Pacers. 15, Pistons. 16, Hawks. 17, Bucks. 18, Wizards. 19, Trailblazers. 20, Nuggets. 21, the Magic. 22, the Lakers. 23, Timberwolves. 24, the Heat. 25, 76ers. 26, the Kings. 27, Mavericks. 28, Nets. 29, Pelicans. And 30, Suns. So moving on to our last topic of the day, college basketball. We'll quickly go over the rankings. Number 1, Villanova Wildcats. 2, UCLA. 3, Kansas. 4, Baylor. 5, Duke. 6, Kentucky. 7, North Carolina. 8, Gonzaga. 9, Indiana. And 10, Creighton. 11, Louisville. 12, West Virginia. 13, Virginia. 14, Wisconsin. And 15, Purdue. 16, South Carolina. 17, Xavier. 18, Butler. 19, Arizona. And 20, St. Mary's. And then the last 5, 21, Notre Dame. 22, Oregon. 23, Florida State. 24, USC. And 25, Cincinnati. So while we're talking about college basketball, I'd like to quickly the fanboy in me wants to go over, how about Malik Monk, the true freshman for the Kentucky Wildcats, dropping 47 points in the 103-100 win over North Carolina. What a performance. And I'm sure a lot of NBA scouts were just salivating at that game from Malik Monk. So that pretty much sums up this show. I know it was a lot shorter of a show than we usually have. I was planning on having an athlete of the week, but it didn't work out, unfortunately. Next week, here's the schedule. I might have another show this week. I have not decided yet. I will definitely let you guys know if that is the case. Next week, the show 100% is on Tuesday, the 27th. Because on Wednesday, the 28th, I leave at noon for Orlando, and I'm spending a week in Orlando, so I will not be able to do sports talk then because I'll be live I'll be in Florida, and then I come back. I've been told I come back on Tuesday, so we should be able to do the Wednesday show on the 4th, and then hopefully we can start having athletes back on the 11th, the week after that. So you guys only have to put up with me for another 2 weeks. So hopefully that doesn't make you lose interest. I hope you guys still enjoy the show. So from everyone here at the Sports Talk family, we wish you a happy holidays. If you guys are in high school or college, like I mentioned, good luck on your exams. I'm struggling through mine right now. Oh my gosh. But happy holidays. Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. From the Sports Talk family, I will see you guys on the 27th. And we will play you guys out with another new track from DJ Lingboy. This is called Dynasty. And it's a melodic dubstep that he created himself. And I love it. I hope you guys do too. I'll see you guys in 8 days on next Tuesday. What a track, am I right, guys? Again, that was DJ Lingboy with Dynasty. I'll see you guys next time.